Let's speak first, though, with Simon Marks, LBC's Washington correspondent. This, as we learned tonight, a man has died in Minneapolis in a shooting involving federal immigration agents. We've just heard a press conference that's been taking place in Minneapolis. Simon can tell us more. Simon, good evening.
Henry, good evening to you. I mean, we knew this was eventually going to happen again 2 weeks after the killing of 37-year-old motorist Renee Good at the hands of a trigger-happy ICE agent. Within the last few hours, 6 or 7 federal enforcement officers, we think most of them from the Border Patrol, were, according to the Department of Homeland Security, engaged in some kind of targeted pursuit of someone that they wanted to drag off the streets to see whether they were an illegal immigrant, and somehow found themselves in the midst of an absolute brawl with a man who died as the result of gunshot wounds that rang out, those gunshots on the streets of Minneapolis. All of this recorded on a cell phone video camera by people in a donut shop right on the other side of the street. You can see those Border Patrol agents trying to subdue the man. You can see at one point that he is being pummeled by one of the Border Patrol agents with some kind of implement, and then a whole array of shots ring out. Brian O'Hara is the police chief in Minneapolis, whose officers, of course, were called to the scene in the immediate aftermath of this killing.
Officers arrived and found an adult male with multiple gunshot wounds when they arrived. Life-saving aid was being rendered, and he was transported by ambulance to Hennepin County Medical Center, where he was later pronounced deceased. Based on the information that we have, which is very limited, this is a 37-year-old white male who is a Minneapolis resident, and we believe he is an American citizen.
And the police chief said that the only criminal record that the dead man had related to some traffic tickets that he'd received at the hands of Minneapolis police. They say that he was a lawfully permitted gun owner. The Department of Homeland Security has issued a furious statement saying that when a supposed peaceful protester brings a weapon such as a loaded handgun and brandishes it, and we don't have any independent evidence that that is what happened, but this is the claim that's being made by the Border Patrol Union, there are going to be severe consequences and repercussions. We have pleaded with and warned the media and the politicians that their irresponsible, hate-filled and false rhetoric is going to get people unnecessarily hurt or worse, killed, when they portray our agents and officers as the aggressors. Well, in Minneapolis, the mayor of the city, Jacob Frey, a Democrat who, like the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, has urged President Trump to remove ICE and the Border Patrol from the streets of Minneapolis, is absolutely accusing those Border Patrol agents and officers of being the aggressors. Take a listen.
How many more Americans need to die or get badly hurt for this operation to end? How many more lives need to be lost before this administration realizes that a political and partisan narrative is not as important as American values? How many times must local and national leaders must plead with you, Donald Trump, to end this operation and recognize that this is not creating safety in our city? We have seen these kinds of operations in other places, in other countries, but not here in America.
Now, the police chief says that his officers have been trying to secure the crime scene, the scene of this killing today, and have been denied access to it by federal law enforcement agents that are now engaged in a standoff with protesters at the scene. Tear gas canisters have been fired. The police chief urged the people of Minneapolis, do not destroy our own city. There is definite nervousness about what is going to take place in the hours ahead. This is the third shooting in just 2 weeks by federal law enforcement officers in Minneapolis, the second fatality as a result of shooting involving federal law enforcement officers. And of course, it comes 24 hours after 15,000 protesters took to the streets of Minneapolis yesterday in sub-zero temperatures, urging the government headed by Donald Trump to pull these masked thuggish agents off the streets of Minneapolis, which is absolutely something, Henry, that President Donald Trump has no intention of doing.
And Tim Walz, the governor who you mentioned earlier on, I see, has activated the State Emergency Operations Centre, and he is going to address the media at 1:30 Central Time, we are told as well, so another news conference incoming. But before I let you go, Simon, I wonder if I could get a word from you on what we are discussing this hour. I actually been adopting your phrase, really, a non-apology apology, a climb down by President Trump. Your thoughts on what we've heard tonight from the President?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a non-apology apology. I mean, I think it's what Americans would refer to as the do-over. I'm sure you've read the tweet out in which Donald Trump pays tribute now to the great and very brave soldiers of the UK and insists that the UK military, with tremendous heart and soul, is second to none except for the USA. I mean, first of all, he doesn't apologise, but, you know, he never apologises. When has he ever apologised for anything? But in a sense, he compounds the mistake that he made, or the original sin that was contained in that interview with Fox News, because he wasn't just besmirching the memory of fallen British servicemen and women in Afghanistan. He was besmirching the memory of every Allied soldier that showed up to support the United States in Afghanistan, including the Canadians, with whom, of course, he's in the middle of a spectacular falling out now, including the Danes, with whom he is in the middle of a spectacular falling out now, including the people of the Netherlands. I mean, there were a whole array of different European and Allied forces that took to Afghanistan to help the United States out. And so by simply targeting this non-apology apology at the UK, because everybody in the UK has expressed absolute fury over the last 24 hours, he still owes an awful lot of people an apology in Britain and in those other countries as well. So even in this posting on Truth Social, he is demonstrating that he still doesn't get it.
Thank you, Simon. As always, Simon Marks, LBC's Washington correspondent.